If you find yourself waking up almost every night around 3 a.m. and you just can't seem to fall back asleep, if you lie there staring at the ceiling, wondering why this keeps happening, if you consistently feel more tired in the morning than when you went to bed, then I want you to know something important. Stop thinking there's something wrong with you. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. What you're experiencing actually has a name, and it's not just insomnia. It's not merely stress. It's not your age, your hormones, or even too much coffee. What's happening to you is something much deeper. Something that science is only now beginning to understand. Something that Eckhart Tolle has been explaining. For decades, your body is waking you up at 3 a.m. for a reason. Your inner intuition knows something that your conscious mind hasn't quite grasped yet. And today, I'm going to reveal exactly what that is. But first, I want you to know that you're not alone in this. Millions of people around the world wake up at the same time every night, between 3 and 4 in the morning. Some call it the witching hour, a time of heightened spiritual activity, but Tolle has a different name for it. He calls it the hour of presence, a time of heightened awareness. Let me explain what that means. When you're asleep, your ego is also asleep, that constant mental chatter, those racing thoughts, your worries about the past and future. All of that quiets down. For a few precious hours each night, you experience something close to what Tolle calls complete awareness. No thought, no identity, just being. But as morning approaches, something interesting happens in your brain. Around 3 a.m., your inner intuition begins to prepare you for waking. Your body temperature starts to rise, your cortisol levels begin to increase. This is all completely normal physiology. But here's what most people don't know. For those who are going through a spiritual awakening, for those whose consciousness is expanding, for those who are becoming more aware of their true nature, this 3 a.m. window becomes something profoundly different. It becomes a gateway. You see, between 3 and 4 in the morning, the veil between your conscious mind and your deeper awareness is at its thinnest. Your ego hasn't yet fully awakened. Your defenses are down. And in that vulnerable space, something is trying to reach you. Call it your inner wisdom. Call it your higher self. Call it presence. Call it the divine. The name doesn't matter. What matters is that this something has been trying to get your attention, and the only time you're quiet enough to hear it is at 3 a.m. This is why you wake up. Not because something is wrong, but because something is right. Something inside you is ready to hear a message that you've been too busy to receive during the day. And I want you to really understand what I'm saying here. During your waking hours, your mind is filled with thousands of thoughts. Studies suggest the average person has somewhere between 60,000 and 80,000 thoughts per day. Most of these thoughts are repetitive. Most of them are about the past or the future, and most of them are generated by the ego. In all that noise, how could your deeper self possibly get through? It cannot. So, it waits. It waits for the one window when the mental noise dies down, when the ego loses its grip, when you're vulnerable enough to actually listen. That window is 3 a.m. Think about it this way. Imagine someone trying to have an important conversation with you while you're at a loud party. Music blasting, people shouting, distractions everywhere. They could be telling you the most important thing you'll ever hear, but you'd miss it completely. But then, the party ends, everyone leaves, the music stops, silence. And in that silence, you can finally hear what they've been trying to tell you all along. Your days are the loud party. Your 3 a.m. is the silence. Your soul has been trying to reach you during the party, but you couldn't hear it. So, it waits for the silence. It waits for 3 a.m. now. Here's what typically happens when people wake up at 3 a.m. They lie there with their eyes open. Their mind immediately starts racing. They think about work. They think about problems. They think about all the things they did wrong yesterday. They check their phone. They scroll through social media. They try to force themselves back to sleep. And in doing all of that, they miss the gift entirely, because the 3 a.m. wake-up is a gift. It's your soul saying, I have something important to tell you, but you're never quiet enough to listen. So, I'm waking you up when the world is silent and your ego is weak. Tolle has spoken about this in his teachings. He says that for many people, the doorway to presence doesn't come through meditation or spiritual practice. It comes through crisis, through pain, through sleepless nights. He himself went through a period of intense suffering before his awakening. Nights where he couldn't sleep, nights where he lay awake in agony. And it was in one of those dark nights that everything shifted. The same thing might be happening to you. But before I tell you what to do when you wake up at 3 a.m., I need to explain what's actually happening in your brain during this time. Science tells us that around 3 a.m., your body begins to release small amounts of cortisol. This is the hormone associated with alertness and stress. For most people, this cortisol release happens gently, and they sleep through it. But for people with heightened sensitivity, people whose nervous systems are more awake, this cortisol surge can trigger a full awakening. And here is the key insight. People who are spiritually awakening often have more sensitive nervous systems. Their bodies respond to smaller stimuli. They feel things more intensely. They pick up on energies that others miss. And their nervous systems are particularly responsive to the subtle hormonal shifts that happen at 3 a.m. So, if you're someone who wakes up at this hour, it might be a sign that you're more sensitive than most, more aware, more attuned to the invisible currents of life. This is not a weakness, this is a gift that you haven't yet learned how to use. Now let me share something that might surprise you. In many spiritual traditions, the hours between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. are considered the most sacred time of day. In yoga, this time is called the sacred hour of dawn. It's considered the ideal time for meditation and spiritual practice because the mind is naturally quieter and more receptive. In Christian tradition, people wake up early for early morning prayers. They have done this for over 1,000 years, not because they enjoy losing sleep, but because they discovered that the veil between earth and heaven is thinner at this hour. In Chinese medicine, the hours between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. correspond to breath and spirit, which is associated with grief, letting go, and receiving new life force. If you find yourself waking up during these witching hours, it could indicate that your body is processing some old grief, or perhaps it's preparing to receive something entirely new. The lungs, in many Eastern traditions, are about so much more than just breathing. They represent receiving life itself, taking in everything you need, and, crucially, releasing what no longer serves you. Each breath is a complete cycle of receiving and letting go. So, if you're consistently waking up during those early morning hours, when the lungs are said to be most active, your body might be trying to tell you something really important. Something is longing to be released. Something new is eagerly waiting to be received. And the only way to complete this exchange is in the profound silence of the night, in Sufi mysticism. Those pre-dawn hours, they're often referred to as the time of the secret. It's believed that the divine is closest to us, to humanity, during this sacred window. Prayers offered during these hours are believed to be heard more clearly, and the heart, it's said to be most open to divine communication. The great Sufi poet, Rumi, wrote beautifully about lying awake at night, listening intently for the voice of the beloved. For him, sleeplessness wasn't a curse, but an incredible gift, time spent in the presence of something truly sacred, and in many indigenous cultures spanning the globe. That time between night and dawn, it's considered a threshold, a liminal space between one world and another. Shamans and healers, they often work during these hours because the barriers between dimensions are at their thinnest, most permeable. What all of these traditions understood is that waking up at 3 a.m. isn't just some random occurrence. It's a sacred window, a time when the ordinary mind is at its weakest, and the deeper mind, your intuition, is at its strongest. And if you've been waking up during this sacred window, there's a reason for it. Let me share something else about this hour with you. Many people who wake up around 3 a.m. report a very specific feeling. They don't just feel sleepy, they feel strangely alert, almost electric, as if their entire system has been activated, jolted awake. This isn't your normal tiredness trying to claw its way back to sleep. This is something else, something entirely different. It's as if a light has been switched on inside them. A signal has been sent. An alarm has been triggered deep within. And this alarm, it's not coming from outside. It's originating from within. That internal alarm, that's your inner wisdom, your soul, saying now. Now is the time to listen. If you fight this alarm, you'll only suffer. But if you answer it, you transform. But here's the core problem. Most people simply don't know what to do with this gift, this invitation. They actively fight against it. They become frustrated. They reach for pills, supplements, sleep apps, doing everything possible to suppress what's happening, instead of just listening to it. This is like being handed an invitation to meet the most important person in your life and then carelessly throwing it straight into the trash because it arrived at a seemingly inconvenient time. Let me share what Eckhart Tolle would suggest you do instead. The next time you wake up at 3 a.m., resist the urge to reach for your phone. Don't start spiraling into thoughts about your problems. Don't desperately try to force yourself back to sleep instead. Just lie there. Feel your body resting on the bed. Feel the weight of the blanket. Feel the air gently entering and leaving your nostrils. Feel the aliveness in your hands, your feet, your chest. Don't think about what any of this means. Don't analyze. Just feel. In that quiet awareness, something just might happen. You might receive a sudden insight. You might feel a comforting presence. You might even experience a profound peace. That makes absolutely no sense, given that you're awake at 3 a.m. when you supposedly should be sleeping. Or you might feel nothing at all. And that's perfectly okay too. The point isn't to force some kind of mystical experience. The point is to stop fighting what's happening and to cultivate curiosity instead. Eckhart Tolle often emphasizes that whatever you fight, you only strengthen. If you fight your wakefulness, you create even more tension. You make it exponentially harder to relax. You transform a potential gift into a seemingly insurmountable problem. But if you accept your wakefulness, if you say yes to it, something fundamentally shifts. The resistance dissolves, and in that newly opened space, grace can freely enter. I want to share with you what happens in your brain when you stop resisting. When you lie awake, actively fighting your wakefulness, your amygdala is activated. This is the brain's fear center. It immediately releases stress hormones. It puts your body on high alert. It makes falling back to sleep virtually impossible. But when you accept your wakefulness and become present with it, your prefrontal cortex activates instead. This is the part of your brain associated with heightened awareness, clarity, and a sense of calm. It sends signals to your amygdala to stand down. It reassures your body that you're perfectly safe. So, by simply accepting your wakefulness, you actually create the conditions for eventually returning to sleep. But even more than that, you create the conditions for something far more valuable: connection with your deepest self, your inner wisdom. If this video is resonating with you, helping you understand what you're experiencing, if you finally feel seen and validated in your 3 a.m. experience, please consider supporting this work through Super Thanks. Every contribution, no matter how small, helps me continue creating content for those of us who are walking this path together. Your support truly tells me that this message matters to you. Now, let me share something that many people discover. After a few weeks of practicing presence at 3 a.m., they actually stop dreading the wake-up. They might even start to look forward to it, because in those quiet hours, when the world is dark and silent, when almost everyone else is sound asleep, they've discovered something truly precious. They've found dedicated time when they can be truly alone with their true self, free from distractions, free from demands, free from all the incessant noise. Some people report receiving their most important insights during these hours, solutions to problems they had been wrestling with for months, clarity about complicated relationship or pivotal career decisions, a profound sense of direction they had been searching for. Others report simply feeling a deep, inexplicable peace, a peace that carries them gracefully through the rest of the day. And still others report something even more profound. They report feeling deeply connected to something far larger than themselves, a presence, an intelligence, a love. That seems to permeate everything. This is what's trying to reach you at 3 a.m. This is why your inner wisdom keeps waking you up. Now, I want to be absolutely clear about something. Not every 3 a.m. wake-up carries a deep spiritual meaning. Sometimes you wake up because you drank too much water before bed. Sometimes you wake up because you're feeling stressed about an upcoming deadline. Sometimes you wake up because your blood sugar dipped, or the room is simply too hot. The key difference lies in how you feel when you wake up. If you wake up feeling groggy and confused, it might just be a simple physical issue. But if you wake up alert, almost unnaturally alert, as if someone just flipped a switch inside you, that's different. That's the wake-up I'm talking about. The kind where you feel like something is actively calling you. Something urgently wants your attention. That's your inner wisdom speaking. Let me share a simple practice that Eckhart Tolle often recommends for moments just like this. When you wake up at 3 a.m. and feel that strange, almost electric alertness, take 3 slow, deep breaths. With each breath, gently bring your attention deeper and deeper into your body. Feel your chest rise and fall. Feel your belly expand and contract. Then ask yourself, what am I experiencing right now? Not what am I thinking? What am I experiencing? Maybe you will notice fear, maybe anxiety, maybe sadness, maybe a strange excitement. Whatever you notice, just be with it. Do not try to change it. Do not try to understand it. Just be aware of it. This is presence. This is what Eckhart Tolle has been teaching. And you are being given an opportunity to practice it every single night. I remember when I first heard Tolle explain that obstacles can become gateways. He said that every seeming obstacle to your happiness or fulfillment is a potential doorway into complete awareness. You just have to modify your response to it. For years, waking up during the witching hour was my obstacle. I hated it, fought it. I saw it as a problem to be solved. Then I started treating it as a gateway. Instead of asking, why am I awake? I started asking, what is here for me? Instead of resisting the experience, I started welcoming it. And everything changed. Now, when I wake up during the witching hour, I do not sigh with frustration. I take a breath and I say to myself, okay, something wants to communicate. I am listening. Sometimes I go back to sleep quickly. Sometimes I lie awake for an hour. But either way, I am no longer fighting. I'm no longer making it mean something bad about me. And in that acceptance, I have found something I never expected. Peace during the witching hour. You can find this too. But it requires a shift in perspective. It requires you to stop seeing your wakefulness as a problem and start seeing it as an invitation to complete awareness, an invitation to your inner wisdom, an invitation to the silence that exists beneath all the noise of your life. Let me give you something practical now, a step-by-step approach for your next witching hour wake-up. Step 1. When you first open your eyes, do not move. Do not reach for anything. Just notice that you are awake. Notice the darkness around you. Notice the silence. Become aware of the fact that you are conscious in this moment. Step 2. Feel your body. Start with your feet. Can you feel the aliveness in your feet? Move your attention slowly up through your legs, your hips, your belly, your chest, your hands, your arms, your neck, your face. Feel the energy moving through you. Step 3. Take 3 deep breaths. With each inhale, imagine you are breathing in peace. With each exhale, imagine you are releasing tension. There is nothing to figure out, nothing to solve. Just breathe. Step 4. If thoughts come, and they will, do not engage with them. Imagine they are clouds passing through the sky of your mind. You see them, you acknowledge them, but you do not climb aboard. Step 5. Ask a simple question, not with your mind, but with your whole being. Say internally, "What is here for me?" Then wait. Do not look for an answer. Let the answer come to you. It might come as a feeling, an image, a word, or it might not come at all tonight. That is okay too. Step 6. If sleep returns, let it return. If it does not, stay in this quiet awareness for as long as feels natural. You are not failing at sleeping. You are succeeding at being present. This simple practice can transform your relationship with the witching hour. Instead of it being a problem, it becomes a practice. Instead of dreading it, you might eventually welcome it. Here is something else I want you to consider. Many people who wake up during the witching hour are going through significant life transitions. They are changing jobs or relationships. They are questioning beliefs they held for decades. They are becoming someone new. And the old self does not go quietly. When you are transforming, your inner intuition gets activated. Your brain knows that something big is happening, even if your conscious mind has not caught up yet. And during the witching hour, when your defenses are down, all of that activation rises to the surface. This is why people often wake up during the witching hour during major life changes. Their body is processing a spiritual awakening that is too big to process during the day. So if you are waking up at this hour, ask yourself, what am I becoming? What old version of myself is dying? What new version is trying to be born? These are sacred questions, and they deserve sacred time to be considered. Perhaps that is exactly what your witching hour wake-up is offering you. Let me share one more insight before we end. Tolle often speaks about the pain body, that accumulation of old emotional pain that lives in our inner intuition. For most people, the pain body stays dormant much of the time, but occasionally it wakes up and demands to be felt. For many people, the pain body is most active during the witching hour. This is when old griefs rise to the surface, when forgotten fears announce themselves, when the sadness you have been carrying for years finally asks to be acknowledged. If you wake up during the witching hour feeling emotional for no apparent reason, it might be your pain body surfacing. And as Tolle teaches, the healing happens not by analyzing it or understanding it, but simply by being present with it. Feel the emotion in your body. Do not give it a story. Do not ask where it came from. Just feel it as pure energy moving through you. In that presence, the pain body begins to dissolve. Not all at once, but gradually, night after night, until one day you wake up during the witching hour and instead of feeling pain, you feel peace. This is the spiritual awakening that is available to you. Every witching hour wake-up is an opportunity to heal old wounds, an opportunity to receive new insights, an opportunity to connect with your inner wisdom. The question is, will you fight it, or will you receive it? I know what I hope you will choose. Let me share one more thing with you before we end, something that might change everything. There is a phrase that Tolle uses often, the watcher. He talks about the part of you that can observe your thoughts, observe your emotions, observe your body sensations, without being completely identified with them. When you wake up during the witching hour, you have a unique opportunity to meet the watcher during the day. Your watcher is often drowned out by the constant activity of the mind. But during the witching hour, when the mind is quiet, the watcher can step forward. Who is it that notices you are awake? Who is it that feels the body lying on the bed? Who is it that observes the thoughts passing through? That is the watcher. That is the deeper you. That is who you really are beneath all the layers of conditioning and identity. During the witching hour, you can make contact with this part of yourself more easily than at any other time. The mental noise is low. The defenses are down. The watcher is accessible. And here is the beautiful thing: the more you make contact with the watcher, the more peaceful your life becomes. Not just during the witching hour, but during the day too. Because once you truly know who you are, once you've experienced yourself as complete awareness, rather than just the thoughts swirling in your mind, everything shifts. Problems lose their weight, like shedding a heavy cloak. Drama loses its grip, its power to control you. Fear loses its power, its ability to paralyze you. This is what spiritual awakening really means. It's not about having visions of angels or bizarre supernatural experiences. It's simply knowing yourself as awareness itself. And those 3 a.m. wake-up calls, they might just be the gateway to that knowing. So instead of seeing these nights as some kind of curse, consider them a gift. Consider them like training sessions, preparing you for a full spiritual awakening. Consider them as unique opportunities to meet yourself at the deepest level. The more you embrace this, the less you will suffer. Not just during those quiet hours of the night, but throughout your entire life. This is the promise of presence, of living fully in the now. This is what Eckhart Tolle has been pointing to all along, guiding us toward a life of greater peace and understanding. Before we wrap up, I want you to remember 3 things. Keep these in mind. First, waking up at 3 a.m. doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. In fact, it might mean something is incredibly right. Your heightened sensitivity, your increased awareness, your deep connection to the underlying currents of life, these are gifts, not problems. Cherish them. Second, how you respond to your wakefulness matters far more than the wakefulness itself. Fighting it, resisting it, only creates more tension. Accepting it, creating space for quiet reflection, creates space for peace. Third, you are not alone in this. Millions upon millions of people wake up at 3 a.m. Many of them are on the same journey you are, a journey of awakening, a journey of becoming more conscious, in a journey home to your true self. Right now, as you're watching this video, thousands of other people around the world are lying awake at 3 a.m., wondering what in the world is happening to them. They're wrestling with the same questions you're asking. They're feeling the same confusion, the same frustration, the same longing to understand what's going on. And tonight, when you wake up at 3 a.m., you can remember this. You can remember that you're a part of something much larger, a global awakening, a collective shift in consciousness, a movement of souls returning home to themselves. You are not broken. You are awakening. You are not sick. You are sensitive. You are not alone. You're part of a silent, growing community of seekers who understand exactly what you're going through, because they're going through it too. Every single time you wake up at 3 a.m., remember this. This isn't just insomnia. This is an invitation. Your inner wisdom is calling out to you. The question is, will you answer the call? Do you wake up at 3 a.m.? What typically happens when you do? Share your experience down in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear tonight. You could help someone else understand their own unique journey. And you might even discover that what you thought was a problem is actually a gateway to something truly beautiful. The witching hour of presence is calling. Your inner wisdom has been patient. It's waited through countless busy days. It sent signal after signal that you were just too distracted to receive. But it hasn't given up on you, and it never will. Tonight, when the world is dark and silent, when the clock shows 3 a.m., you might open your eyes again, and when you do, you have a choice. You can curse the darkness, or you can welcome the light that is trying so hard to break through. The choice is yours. The invitation stands open. Will you answer?